Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome you to Central Methodist University's Estes Field for today's game between Central Methodist and Culver-Stockton. Games 3 and 4 of the doubleheader, originally scheduled for 1, but we're moving up to this morning, trying to avoid and dodge some and duck some raindrops there as well. They're calling on later on tonight. Central Methodist, they're 40-7, 26-4 under head coach Nate Breland. While Culver-Stockton, they're 15-3, 12-18. 15, 30, and 1, 12 and 18 in the conference there as well under head coach Brad Yorkos. Of course, Central Methodist won the first two games on Thursday. First game 6-0 on a 6-hitter by Clayton Burke. Then the second game 9-1, 3 hits there by Bobby Nichols. Leading the way for hitting wise for Central Methodist, that's Carlos Negron, 421 average, 18 homers, 65 RBI. For Culver-Stockton, that's Cannon Kirk, 433 average, 2 homers, and 20 RBIs as well. For pitching-wise, Justin Steedray, 0-0, 1.29 ERA, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. For, of course, for Culver-Stockton, Liam Taylor, 1-0, 1.80 ERA, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts as well. And, of course, this is the final weekend, final regular season one for both baseball, softball, final regular season for Central Methodist Sports there as well. Of course, in about 13 minutes, Central Methodist Softball, they'll be taking on Benedictine down in Atchison, Kansas. Originally scheduled for 1 o'clock, but I think they moved it up to depending on the weather down in Atchison, Kansas there as well. And, of course, the Major League Baseball, Cardinals will be taking on the New York Mets. Of course, Cardinals won 4-2 last night. They'll be playing at 3 p.m. there as well. Also at 4 p.m., the Florida Panthers take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Florida is up 3-0. They have a chance to sweep the series this afternoon there as well. And then at 7 o'clock tonight, then it's game number 4 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Boston leads that series 2-1 there as well. Of course, tomorrow we got some Major League Baseball. The Cardinals take on the Mets at 12 noon there. Then you got Houston and Colorado. They'll play the series down in Mexico City at 3. And then Sunday Night Baseball, the Chicago Cubs and the Boston Red Sox. If you look at the standings, of course, Central Methodist 26-4, 40-7. Central Methodist needs to win one of those games to win the conference title. Mid-American Nazarene 24-6. 31-15. Mount Mercy 21-9, 26-15. Park 19-10, 28-14. Baker 15-15, 19-28. Porter State 14-15, 18-27. And then of course Grandview 14-16, 23-20. Clark 14-16, 19-27. William Penn 13-27, 21-24. Culver-Stockton 12-18, 15-30-1. Graceland 10-18, of course 22-24. Benedictine 8-24, 14-34, and then of course Missouri Valley 3-25, 15-30 all together there. Of course, it's the final weekend of the regular season. Of course, conference tournament they'll be starting up on May the 2nd. Of course, baseball will be in Ozark, while softball they'll be down in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, hosted by Mount Mercy there. Of course, the coaches meeting up at home plate there. Of course, it's senior weekend. I got to meet some of the seniors. Of course, Bobby Nichols, his family is there. Of course, Nathan Billows' family, Alexander's Billows' family is there. Of course, Zeb Wheaty's family is here. Also, Dominic Van Dorn's dad, Chuck, his mom, that's his stepmom, Anna, his mom, Dominic's mom, Aunt Leslie, and of course, his grandmother, Majid, is there as well, all making the trip, mostly from Michigan there. Also, A.J. Riddle's dad, of course, had a great visit with not only A.J. Riddle's family, but also Bobby Nichols' family. His dad Mike is there. So you might say I met a whole clan of it, and of course you have Lisa Smith, and then is also there. The next to her is Alyssa, also known as the Ranger. Rangers is there as well. So many other great families. Of course, I think I saw Steve and Gail Weatherford is all there as well. We'll go ahead and give you today's starting lineups there, sponsored by the Fireside Bakes and Fireside Bakery for Culver-Stockton. Leading off is Jason Andujar. He'll be in left field. Out at first base is Tristan Minay. At third base, Canyon Kirk. Down at second base is Jordan Scott. And behind the plate there, Brian Barreto. Down at in right field, Wyatt White. Right. Jackson Day is the DH. Ryan Oso is the shortstop. And at left, out in center field there, is Noble Oxford. With today's starting pitcher, Nicholas Gobert. And, of course, for Central Methodist, Bobby Nicholson's in center field. Valentin Cerna Jr. is at second. Tanner Sears behind the plate. Carlos Negron's in right field. Jeremy Conforte is the DH. Zeb Weedy is in left. And, of course, Joseph Weatherford at first base. Diego Dioren is at third base. And David Soriano is at shortstop. Today's starting pitcher is Foster Seitz. So we're about ready to get started. Central Methodist at 30, 40-7, 26-4, while Culver-Stockton 15, 30-1, 12-18 in the conference. Foster Seitz warming up in the bullpen there. I think that's one of Bobby's families there. So we're about ready to get started there. Of course, they'll have the seniors after today's doubleheader there. So Foster Seitz warms up in the bullpen. Of course, we have the coaches meet at home plate. Overcast day. But good news is we're ready to play some baseball there. So we're about ready to get going there. So we're ready to, should be getting started there. With Norris on the catbird seat there. Fans starting to file in there on this Saturday morning. Foster Seitz still warming up there. For softball, should be getting started there down in Atchison. They won the Hard America Conference regular season championships. They took 2 from Missouri Valley on that Tuesday afternoon there. And if everything goes according to plan, either Jordan Ball or maybe Hallie Ferris next no-hitter will be my 20th career no-hitter. And for Jordan Ball, she has a chance to pass Sandy Koufax for the most career no-hitters. Starting lineup, national anthem, Quentin Norris on the catbird seat. We'll go ahead and set the defense for you. Sponsored by the TJ Diner and Bar. Out in left field there, it is Zeb Weedy. In center field, Bobby Nichols. In right field, Carlos Negron at third base. Diego Diarren down in shortstop. David Soriano, second baseman. David Valentin Cerna Jr., first baseman. Joseph Weatherford behind the plate. Tanner Sears, and there's Foster Seitz. 8-1, 3.97 ERA, 14 walks, and 53 strikeouts. He is from St. Louis, Missouri. Of course, his dad is Greg. His mom name is Jill. He has a sister named Lila, and they have a pet dog who is at home, probably watching the broadcast, and it's also most likely probably watching the broadcast as well. We should be getting started here, a little past 10. Foster Seitz getting his warm-up tosses there. On an overcast day. Central Methodist needs one more victory for the conference regular season title outright. Glad to have you with us. Overcast day. Central Methodist in the green uniform, white trim, white numerals, birds on the bat. Culver-Stockton looks like their black uniform, navy trim, navy numerals. They'll throw it down the second. And we're about ready to get started as Jason Andujar is the batter. A .315 hitter, 7 homers, 32 RBIs on the season. We're ready to get going. Here is your first pitch. And as a strike call, came at 10:02 a.m. Temperature about 63 degrees. The time and temperature sponsored by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at Kansas City International Airport. Here's a ground ball to Valentin Cerna Jr. Throws over the Weatherford for out number 1. Now here is Tristan Manet. 389 hitter, 2 homers, 32 RBIs. Went to Battle High School. Of course, his dad, Brian, is the boys' basketball coach. He had a brother named Trey who used to play basketball at Central Methodist for a few years. First pitch to him. Fouls it off. Strike 1. 0-1 the count there on Tristan Manet. Where's number 3? I think softball should be getting started. The 0-1 pitch. That's a ball, 1 strike there. 1-1 the count. 1-1 the count. The 1-1. Slices that one foul. 1-2 there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. First of 2 today. One-two pitch. Fouls that one off. Still 1-2. One, two, the count. Just underway, as Vin Scully would say. Let's pull up a chair then and get ready for some Central Methodist baseball. 1-2 pitch. Oh, nice stop there by Tanner Sears, and the count is 2-2. 2-2 the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cloudy. 2-2 pitch. Lines a shot. Weedy will have to play it on the bounce. So 1 out single there. Here's Cannon Kurt up there. 433 hitter, 2 homers, 20 RBIs on the year. Team's leading hitter ending today's doubleheader from Vernon, Illinois. Foster Sites works on the stretch position there. First pitch to him. Nice stop there by Tanner Sears, and the count is 1-0. I think softball should be starting up there. Hopefully we'll give you an update on the softball game.
It may be full too. I was able to take 3 photos.
The 1-0 pitch. Chops it foul, 1-1 there. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and one the count. Sites works on the stretch position. The 1-1. Nice pitch on the outside corner, as Joe Garagiola would say on NBC television. That is called framing the pitch. 1-2 the count. On Cannon Kurt. Your 1-2 pitch. Hits a ground ball, Cerna Jr. They get the tag. The throw not in time, but I do believe they get the tag. So it's a fielder's choice. So 2 outs now. There's Jordan Scott up there. 250 hitter, 3 homers, 24 RBIs. He is from Imperial, Missouri, around the St. Louis area. I think there is a bowling alley in Imperial. At one time several years ago on a Saturday afternoon, remember watching the Pro Bowlers Tour. There used to be a tournament in Imperial, Missouri. Runner first, 2 outs. The first pitch to him. Fouls it to the screen. 0-1 the count there. Great crowd on hand. We're hoping about 40,000 or so. And I'm sure millions are all watching on television. It is. Oh, and 1 to count. Kurtz at first on the fielder's choice. They throw over there. Back he goes. Oh, and 1 to count. The pitch to him. There's a strike. 0-2 there. No balls and 2 strikes on Jordan Scott. Okay. 0-2. Now they throw over there. Well, they're keeping a sharp eye on Cannon Kurt. Oh, and 2 the count. There goes the runner. The throw. That's a stolen base there. Throw was more toward the third base side of second. So the count is 1-2 now. One and two the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 pitch. Fouls it off there just to increase the tension. 1-2 the count. Sites needs to talk to the baseball. Point to Tanner Sears. 1-2 pitch. Fouls it off then. Almost hit the on-deck batter. That is Brian Barreto. One ball, 2 strikes. At second base is Cannon Kurt. 1-2 the count. The 1-2. Just outside. 2-2 the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jordan Scott. They're keeping a sharp eye on him. Fly ball. I think Negron measures it. Makes the catch. So no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and they leave 1. We head to the bottom of the first inning, no score. And we'll go ahead and set the defense for you there. It is sponsored by Emmett's Kitchen and Tap. That is Wyatt Wright. That is Jason Andujar in left field. Out in center field, that is Noble Oxford. Wyatt Wright's in right. Canyon Kurtz at third. Shortstop there is Ryan Oso. Second baseman, Jordan Scott. First baseman, Tristan Monet. That is their pitcher, their catcher behind the plate, Brian Barreto. And there's today's starting pitcher there, Nicholas Gobert. 1-6, 6.54 ERA. 21 walks and 45 strikeouts there. He is from Germany. I would say around the Berlin area. So Central Methodist will have Bobby Nichols there, followed by Valentin Cerna Jr. Then you got Tanner Sears, Carlos Negron, Jeremy Conforte, Zeb Weedy, Joseph Weatherford, Diego Diaren, and then, of course, David Soriano. Great crowd on hand. Gets one more toss in there, and there you see Trey Rosenflies heads over to the first base coach's box. That's Nate Breland to the third base coach's box. And Bobby Nichols, after a 400 hitter, 8 homers, 33 RBI, had a great visit with his dad, Mike. Had a great visit along with Larry Riddle's dad. All from Detroit, home of the Detroit Tigers, who, of course, 40 years ago last month, just a few weeks ago, of course, Jack Morris threw a no-hitter against the Chicago White Sox. Remember that one? It was a game of the week on NBC television. 1-0 the count, the 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on Bobby Nichols. Great visit with Bobby is there right before went up to the press box for the pregame show. Ground ball to second. Second baseman has it. Throw to first. And there is out number 1. Okay, go. Here's Valentin Cerna Jr., 380 hitter, 4 homers, 32 RBIs from Ingleside, Illinois. So 1 out now. Got a left-handed hitter up there. First pitch. It's a liner into right center field. That's up against, that'll be a base hit there. So 1 out single for Valentin Cerna Jr. Here is Tanner Sears. 378 hitter, 14 homers, 60 RBIs on the season. Of course, from Higginsville, Missouri. Of course, I got to see his mom. His mom is Shelly. His dad's name is Kurt. His grandmother's name is Connie. And also know one of his... First pitch to him. That's up high, 1-0. I also know one of Tanner Sears' high school classmates' aunt. Actually, mom and aunt used to live in the town of Gillum, Missouri. First pitch. Ball 2 there. Of course, his high school classmate's name was Landon Wetland. His mom's name was Carrie. His aunt was Courtney. 2-0 pitch. Fouls it off there. And of course, I've known them for a long time, and I'm sure they're listening, and I want to say hi to them as well from Higginsville, Missouri. 2-1 the count. On deck is Carlos Negron. 2-1 the count. Cerner Juniors at first. That's inside. 3-1 now. 3 balls and a strike. 3-1 now. Wonder Tanner has the green light. 3-1 pitch. Ball 4 now. So now first and second now. And 1 out for Carlos Negron. 427 hitter, 18 homers, 65 RBIs. From Puerto Rico, same area where the great Trey Vorwald is the courtesy runner. Of course, Carlos Negron is from the same area where the great Roberto Clemente, great right fielder from the Pittsburgh Pirates from 1956 to 1972. First and second. Ball 1, 1-0 now. Got his 3,000th hit on September 30th, 1972 on a double off of left-hander John Matlock. 1-0 the count, the 1-0 pitch. Ball 2 there, 2-0 the count. On deck is Jeremy Conforte. 2-0 the count on Carlos Negron. Two-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. 2 balls and 1 strike there on Carlos Negron. Valentin Cerner Jr. at second. Vorwald, the courtesy runners at first. 2-1 the count. 2-1 pitch. It's a high pop up there. Right fielder slips. Second baseman calls for it. Makes it over the shoulder catch for out number 2. It looked like it was very adventurous, as Vince Scully used to say it. But the second baseman makes the catch for out number 2. And here's Jeremy Conforte. Now, 333 hitter, 9 homers, 33 RBI. He is from a town of Villa Park, Illinois. Cerner Jr.'s at second. Vorwald's the courtesy runner is at first. 2 outs. No score. Bottom of the first. Ball 1 there. On deck is Zeb Weedy. One and 0 to count. 1-0 pitch. They throw over there, and back goes Vorwald. Boy, that was close. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 to count. 2 balls and no strikes on Jeremy Conforte. 2-0 pitch. That's up high. 3-0 to count. Three and 0 to count there. 3-0. Here's the 3-0. Fouls it to the screen. 3-1 there. Estes Field shivering with his concrete foundations. 3-1 to count. 3 balls and a strike. 3-1 pitch. Takes it all the way. 3-2 now. Jeremy Conforti thought it was ball 4, but the umpire says, sorry, sir, strike 2. Three and 2 the count. Runners will be going on the pitch. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, take your race. Now the base is loaded full of Eagles. And they'll bring up Zeb Weedy. 379 hitter, 7 homers, 24 RBIs from Harrisburg, South Dakota. Of course, I met his dad, Rusty. I want to say hi to his mom, Tiffany, who is listening in there as well. Bases loaded full of Eagles. See if we can get a crooked number there. Oh, that kind of gets away. Here comes Borwald. Here's the throw. Not in time. Serna Jr. scores. Headed to third is Borwald in the second. That's a pass ball. 1-0 Central Methodist. That's a pass ball there. 1-0 the count on Zeb Weedy. 1-0 the count. The 1-0 pitch. That's a low. 2-0 on deck is Joseph Weatherford. Two and 0 the count. 2-0 pitch. It's a high pop up there. Let's see what's going to happen. The right fielder calls for it, makes the catch for the third out. So 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and they leave 2. We head to the top of the second. Central Methodist 1, Culver-Stockton nothing.
Bales takes this shot, whips it in, and it's in the back of the net!
That's a Ranger. He is from Puerto Rico. Top of the second inning. First pitch from Foster Sight. Hits the ground ball. There's a base hit there. Right to the 5-6 hole there. And there's a leadoff single. Second hit of the game for 0-1 now. On deck, it's Jackson Day. 0-1 to count. They throw over there. Boy, they're really keeping a sharp eye on him. 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. There's 1 out now. Here's Jackson Day up there. 2 hours, 228 hitter, 3 homers, 15. And one time, Tom Lasorda made a telephone call to their general manager, wanting Al Michaels to be their play-by-play announcer. But now he hits him there. So now first and second, 1 out now. And now their batter is Ryan Oso. 255 hitter, no homers, 21 RBIs on the year. From Orange, California.
Well, she just needed to tie it down.
First and second, 1 out, and the pitch to him. There's a strike call, 0-1 now. On deck is Noble Oxford. 0-1 the count. 1-0 lead for Central Methodist. Here's the pitch. Cues it off foul. 0-2 now. Oh, and 2 the count there. We'll hopefully give you an update on Central Methodist softball taking on Benedictine. 0-2 pitch. Nice stop there by Tyner Sears, and the count is 1-2. Burrell's at second. 0-2 the count. 1-2. Now, oh, that kind of gets away from there. Now the runners will head up to second and third. That'll be an error on the pitcher there. Boy, he was catching Jackson Day leaning, but the throw got away. So now it's 1-2 now. So Foster Sykes just needs to talk to the baseball, point to Tanner Sears. One and two the count. Second and third. One out. 1-2 pitch. A high pop foul. Still 1-2 now. Top of the second inning. 1-2 the count. Your 1-2 pitch. Hits the ground ball. Stoner Jr. couldn't get to it. That'll be a base hit. One run's going to score. The second run's going to score, and Culver-Stockton leads it 2-1. So the 2 RBI single, the air comes back to haunt them there. So for Ryan Olso, RBI number 23 on the year. Here's Noble Oxford. No homers, 12 RBIs, a .258 hitter. He is from Eudora, Kansas. Second, runner at first, and one out. It's a ground ball. Soriano, he'll go to second for one. The first, there's your double play at 4-6, 4-3 double play. So 2 runs on just 2 hits. No error, 1 error. 1 error. And no one left on. We head to the bottom of the second inning. Culver-Stockton 2, Central Methodist 1.
Can you log into your iPad one more time?
Oh, sure. Log in, you mean?
Yeah, use your passcode.
Oh, I see.
See if I can get in. I'm having internet troubles today. So
Hmm.
see what we can do.
How about that?
Maybe.
I don't know what. Softball playing today or
10 o'clock
at
at Benedictine.
Benedictine?
Right now, yeah, it's nothing.
What is it?
0-0 top 4.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
Hey, it says top of 3. Your Presto might be acting up today, but
Huh?
it says that you're connected, but Presto might just be slow today.
Oh, okay.
But it says you're connected, so I'm not sure what's going on.
I don't know.
We'll keep working on it. Let's see if I can.
That's Joseph Weatherford up the bat. 302 hitter, 8 homers, 38 RBIs, so 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for Culver-Stockton. Of course, I'd like to say hi to his dad, Steve, his mom, Gayla. Of course, from Flower Mound, Texas, but they live in a beautiful town of Batesville, Arkansas. 0-1 to count. 2-1 lead for Culver-Stockton. Ball 1-1 now. One and one to count on Joseph Weatherford. A swing and a miss. 1-2 now. On deck is Diego Diarin. Sets them at the softball. 41-3, 22-0 in the conference. Ranked number 3 in the polls. 1-2 pitch. Hits a high fly ball in the center field. Well hit. Back at the track to the fence, to the wall. Gone. A tie game at 2. On a home run by Joseph Weatherford. And for Joseph Winterford. That's his 9th of the year, RBI number 39, and a tie game at 2. Here's Diego Diarin. 275 hitter, no homers, 17 RBIs from Venezuela. Same area where the great Luis Aparicio. The great Luis Aparicio is from. 2-2 tie. First pitch to him. It's a little chopper. Foul. Strike 1. On deck is David Soriano. 0-1 the count. 0-1 pitch. There's a strike. 0-2 there. 0-2 the count. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 pitch. Ball 1-2. Oh, they call him out. So strike 3 call, so 1 out now for David Soriano. 333 hitter, 4 homers, 17 RBIs. From the San Domingo, Dominican Republic, same area where the great Roberto Clemente. He hit home run number 4 on Thursday. On a Thursday afternoon. First pitch. It's a liner to left field. That's well hit. That's up against the wall. Look at Soriano go. He is thinking 2. He is there with a double. A ringing double down the left field corner. And here's Bobby Nichols. He grounded out to second his first time. Of course, from Detroit. One of my favorite TV shows took place in Detroit was called Home Improvement. The best one they had was when Tim the Toolman Taylor challenged Bob Vila to a lawnmower race. Soriano's at second. First pitch. Fouls it off. 0-1 now. 0-1 the count. Soriano's at second with the double down the left field corner.